It's that time again. The annual conference of the American Society of Ag Consultants, otherwise known as ASAC, is going to be held in Fort Myers, Florida, this November 4th and 5th. Kurt Covington is one of 9 professionals who will address the conference. The other speakers who will cover a wide range of topics represent Florida Farm Bureau, Florida Citrus Commission, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, National Ag Law Center, Risk Mitigators and Advisors, Tyler Associates, as well as the lead economist for dairy at CoBank, and myself, Chrissy Wozniak from North American Ag. The day and a half of presentations will be followed by ag tours on Tuesday afternoon at Echo Farms, one of my favorite places here in Fort Myers. Attendees will experience farming at its most creative, with unique demonstrations, plants, and techniques being used to help farmers and urban gardeners in developing countries. A second tour at Echo will showcase simple technologies that can improve food, water, and shelter for millions of people. A third tour of a hydroponic grower is also being planned. For more information and to register, visit www.agconsultants.org. That's www.agconsultants.org. See you there. Welcome to North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. I have a very special guest today. He's a dairy management specialist from Israel who has been assisting with the recovery of a large dairy farm that was a target of the October 7th terrorist attack near Gaza Strip. He's here today to talk about what happened that terrible day, and he's also going to talk about Israel's incredible agriculture industry. Israel is a global leader in agriculture technology and is really a testament to human ingenuity and technological innovation, overcoming very challenging environmental conditions in regions that were once considered unsuitable for agriculture. From Kfar Netter, Israel, I would like to welcome Tsur Hadar. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Well, thank you, Chrissy. Thank you for having me.
First of all, just let's start by talking a little bit about your own background.
Well, I grew up in a kibbutz next to the Mediterranean Sea in the middle of Israel. Since I was a boy, I was attached to the farm life and especially to dairy life. We had a big dairy farm, about 10,000 heads, about 500 milking cows. And I spent there since I was 12 years old and working in a dairy, like any farm boy that have his family as a farm. Later, I've been, like every Israeli man or woman, we joined the army. I did 3 years in the army as a tank commander. And going back to the kibbutz, I was back working in the dairy as the herd management and then the dairy management. And then I was doing my degree in animal science in Hebrew University in Jerusalem. And everything it was around dairy. Later, I've been left the kibbutz. There's something called that the kibbutz is a community, and if you don't want to be a real member part, you can leave. I left the kibbutz and I was working in North Italy as a dairy manager for a while. Coming back to Israel, I was working in companies that marketing, feeding, animal dairy specialists, and also nutrition specialists in these companies. Later on, I moved to the other side of the business. This business have a lot of sides. I went to work in a company called SCR. It's a local Israel company. I mean, it's companies that sell all around the world now, but started in Israel. We're doing monitoring system, milking system, all kind of smart data solution for basically for the dairy cows, also to different beef cows, young stock, sheep and goats, and others. I left SCR about a year and a half ago, and since then I'm independent consultant for dairy farm management, and also for monitoring system, which have been very involved in produce, and that's where I am now. I'm married. I have 2 kids. My other son is in the army right now. My youngest daughter is in finishing school this year. And I also have 2 boxers part of my family.
Oh, very
That's, I
good.
think, will be.
So, can you give us an idea of what agriculture looks like in Israel, and then also tell me about the communities that you called kibbutz?
I start with the kibbutz. The kibbutz is a cooperative community. I mean, it started in the 1930s when immigrants from Europe came to Israel and started this idea of living together. It's kind of a socialism, less communism, but the idea is that in this kind of village, it's based on agriculture. All the means of production were corporate, and people were working wherever they worked, and the idea was everybody is contribute based of his what he can and receive and get what he needs. That was the main idea. This thing was changed a lot during the years. I can just tell that me as a boy, we were all the kids. We weren't living in a parents' house. I mean, there was what we call the kid house. I mean, so where we were during the day, we're coming to school, and then afternoon we were being with the parents, and then going back to the kid house to stay in the night. And it's something that looks a bit weird to most of the people, even weird to me now as a parent.
Right.
But actually, it was kind of good life as a young person. This was changed. A lot of things were changed, with the modern life. Kibbutz is a part of the country. It's not separate. And right now, people, living in a parent's house, and most of the kibbutzim change their life to what you call personalization. I mean, that everybody support his own family and working for himself, like mostly everyone else in the world. But still, the idea of a community stayed very, very strong, and supporting very, very strong education, supporting the health, supporting the elder people, doing all the holidays together, and it's a very strong community. So this is about what the kibbutz is right now.
And it's kind of like Amish communities here in the United States, right?
Yeah, a bit. If I understand right, it's a bit more modern.
More modern,
but,
right? More technological.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the agriculture of Israel? It's really fascinating.
Well, our agriculture is very sophisticated. We don't have a lot of land. We are very short on land. We are very short in water. So we have to be very, how do you call it? Doing the right thing, and very technical, very technical. So a lot of technologies been invested in Israel. First to support the Israel market, and then spread all over the world. I can tell a few of them. I mean, if in the place that I'm coming from, the dairy market, out of I think 5 or 6 big technology dairy milking companies in the world, 2 out of Israel.
Wow.
One is the CR and the other Rafi Milk, and this is very technology and very high tech systems that we create and sell all around the world. Drip irrigation. Drip irrigation started in Israel in a company named Netafim. Now there is a few other companies that just sell all over the world. Water recycling. Again, since we don't have a lot of water, we have to recycle our water. So 86% of the water in Israel are recycled. It's way higher than any other country in the world. And we ship it to the south where there is no water and use it for crops. Other biopesticides, biofertilizers, crop picking robots, drones. I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, this technology is just go on and on and on.
Right. Yeah, amazing. So switching gears now, where were you on October 7th? Tell me about that.
Well, it was Saturday, and I was on my way to lead a trip in the desert, in Judah desert. I had a hobby of off-road trips in the desert that working for a company that organize this kind of trips. I left home around 6 o'clock in the morning with my daughter and my sister husband. And on the road, on the radio, we heard these alerts, the red alarm alerts, which is everybody knows about it in Israel. It's a missile attack. We really didn't get too much because it's not something that's not happened, and usually it's aimed to different zones, and in my head I said, I never get to the east part of Israel, the desert, which also no people are living there almost. So.
Right. Sounds safer.
And yeah, and we on the way we heard that there is a red alert for this area and that for this area. We are very sophisticated in that also. We are not alert all the country for a missile. It sounds crazy, but this is the way we live here.
Yeah,
It can be an alert for one small neighbor in the city and not for the next one. I mean, they can calculate where it's going to, and we start, one another of those days. But when we came to the place when we started the trip, we started to look out and talk and understood that this is way more than another missile attack, and canceled the trip and went back home. And that's when the horror started. I was connecting through WhatsApp all the time with my friend Marcelo, who lives in Kibbutz Nirim. We will talk about him, I guess, later, which is right on the border of the Gaza Strip. And they were attacked, and every hour I was checking on him and see what's going on there. I mean, then you start to understand he was locked in the what is called protected space, or kind of home shelter, something that we have in Israel, along with his wife, his son, his daughter, and his grandson for almost 12 hours.
wow.
Waiting ranking somebody to the army, to the IDF, to rescue him when people were shooting and the terrorist attacks all around them. That was this day.
Oh, that's awful. And what was the impact to the farm itself?
Well, the dairy was the dairy was hurt by a bomb, forgot the word of this kind of bombs, but and it fell on a roof and 10 cows killed. And but this was only the start, you know.
Yeah.
This what it called the mortar bomb fell on the shed, but at night and these days and the next morning the army evacuated all the residents of this kibbutz because it was too dangerous to stay there. And it wasn't the only this kibbutz, and all these communities that lived around the Gaza Strip. And you know, a dairy, I mean, cows have to be milked, cows have to be fed.
Yeah.
The youngsters had to be fed, and there was no one to feed them or milk them. Lucky for this kibbutz, I don't really know why. And with Marcelo and Sivan, the guy who's working with him, came back to the farm the next day and started milking the cows. I think 30 hours after the previous milking, which is it's funny to say it's lucky because me as a dairy farmer, I still have a trauma from 40 years ago when I missed one milking and we couldn't milk the cows. It was we thought that the earth was going to fall down on us. And this kibbutz, they've been milked after 24 hours, and other places cows haven't been milked for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And then for the next almost 2 weeks, they worked there with us volunteers, but we did only the minimum that we had to avoid the risk.
Right. And you went down to help too, right?
Yeah. Yes, I did. But there was no. We didn't do anything that beyond the most important things. I mean, there was no bedding for the cows, no cleaning the alleys, the ventilators stopped working, water was spoiled, and I think even the worst was we had to how do you call it, is to throw out about 10 tons of milk every day to the sewer. I mean, this is something that, again, I think every dairy farmer, it's really tough to see because the milk tanker couldn't come and collect the milk. I mean, it was not allowed by the army.
Right.
And well, later it's became a bit more organized. Actually, start from almost the first few days, that a lot of people in Israel start to look to come and help in their dairies. So WhatsApp group, we call it Brother in Dairy, Brothers for Dairy. Mm-hmm. It was created by the Association of Cattle Breeding in Israel, and people were signing to the group. Actually, now I think there is more than 1,200 people register in this group who wants to come and help. And actually, so for now, and I guess for fight for a longer time, this group is actually helping in the farms. You know, the group managers connecting with the dairy managers and tell him how many people you need for this week, and people are coming to volunteer for a week,
Right.
Sunday to Sunday or Thursday to Thursday, and doing whatever needed in the farm. And it is, I mean, it's amazing to meet all these good people that coming to help and work, and you know, and it's still a dangerous area. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds very brave. And I've been hearing a lot of stories of during this communities coming together, like you said, like never before, helping each other, loving each other. And so is that what you experienced both on the farm and then at home too?
well, yeah, as I said, you know, in the before, I mean, we again kibbutzim and actually the rural communities, the agriculture communities are very very strong relationship between them. This is the way it works, and all our agriculture is like that. There is almost no competition. You know, people are sharing and teaching, and this is the way it's worked in Israel. And when horror things like that happened, everybody is looking to help. I mean, everybody is looking to help. I mean, whenever from the city or from the village, people are coming to help everywhere with cooking food for people or to the soldiers or bringing clothes or coming to support to the communities that had to the left homes, what we call the refugees in their home country.
Wow.
And, you know, those kibbutzim that we evacuated have been, a lot of them moved together to different places, to the other kibbutzim. Like my kibbutz, and I born up in Shefayim, there is a full or almost full community in a kibbutz from the border. It's called Kfar Aza, and so people are coming and supporting them and helping them. And I mean, it's amazing what's happening in Israel. I can tell you a little story. My Marcelo daughter, with kids, she was looking for an apartment and somewhere in the center of Israel, and she some woman or some family suggested, tell them there's an empty apartment in a place called Kiryat Ono, and they went there and they cleaned the place, and it was empty. I mean, it was an apartment. And they said, well, what should we do with it? I mean, we have kids, and the woman there told her, don't worry. By evening, the apartment was full with everything you can think about. Beds and sofas and oven and refrigerator and microwave and TV, and in the end they have to ask people stop bringing things, you know. So this is what's happened in Israel in these days. I mean, that's
right. Yeah. What are you hearing from other farms in the area?
Well, besides that, I'm in the group of this brother for dairy, and I see what people are going and volunteering. And from here and there, from friends that are moving between farms, I don't hear much, but I know some. I mean, there've been about, if I'm not wrong, about 13 kibbutzes, dairy farms around and have been attacked.
Wow.
They've been damaged. Some of them very slightly damaged, some very severe damage. And slightly damaged, I would say, what's happened in Nirin. It's 10 cows killed. I mean, this is, and there was another kibbutz that 16 Thai people that live in the house next to the dairy. Part of them work in the dairy, part of them work there. They have been murdered.
Oh.
They're on the spot.
And
the terrorist bombed the milking parlor. So it took us a few days to be able to fix it and coming back to milk. And there was, if I'm not wrong, only one dairy damage that bad that you couldn't milk the cows anymore.
wow.
And when it was impossible, they brought trucks and move all the cows to the center of Israel to a place good to take them.
Wow.
But every dairy is dealing with it differently. Not every dairy have the manager there. It's tough time, but I think all of us, or at least those that the volunteers, and I think all of us understand the importance of a dairy in the community, in the community. I mean, and the kibbutz is empty. The only people now in the kibbutz is us that working in the dairy. Most of us volunteers and the armies that around surrounded us. I mean, and for me, it's like at the heart. You know, this will be keep the and will place that you can come back sometime.
Right. Yeah, and I have a friend who, an Israeli farmer and business owner, who sent me a picture of them working in the fields with military helicopters above watching out for them. So is that something that's typical, or is it just in some areas?
Well, it's not typical during the regular days. In those days, it's it's just before it's the season to see the wheat, which is the main feed for the cows in Israel. And so the moment they could, they went out to see the fields, and the army was covering them. But I can tell you that also when we work in the dairy, this dairy is threatened by rockets and bombs. We work with a helmet and a vest, even that it's not that easy to work like that. At least we try to work like that, and it's something that I never thought it will work like that. You know, the dairy farm have boots on him, and not in the helmet and the vest.
Exactly. Wow.
And so and it's so close to the border. So when there is an alarm, and there is an alert alarm, I mean, red alert alarm every once, 2, 3 times a day, we don't have time on it. We have very short time to run to the shelter. And there's about 10 seconds to get to the shelter, and if you are not, if you are on the road or between the cows or on a tool, you just lay down on the ground. You put your hand on your head and and wait until it's over. Yeah, and well, it's not nice, but I guess we learn to live with it, and actually being there, thinking about it. I just admire the people that live there. I mean, we as adults, we can manage the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about me and drawing my kids there, and knowing that there's somebody that you heard, so maybe your kid is playing football somewhere
Right.
or somewhere. And I really admire those people that lived there all these years.
Yeah,
I really do.
definitely. And it really strikes me too, through all of this, is learning that Israelis have bomb shelters in their houses all the time to protect their families. It just seems so crazy to Americans and Canadians to, like, as you said, we don't live like that. It's such a different way of life. So tell me, were those shelters needed before? How is everybody set up with those?
Well, I think it started in the 90s when the Iraq war, then Iraq was sending missiles to Israel. But then it became, the threat became much closer. We're surrounded with Arab countries. Two of them we have peace with, Egypt and Jordan.
Right.
But we have Syria and Lebanon in the north, and Gaza, which is not a country, it's in the south, which threaten us with missiles all the time. Now we are that small. I mean, from Gaza to Lebanon, it will be about 200 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
So from each side, they can reach almost everywhere. So since the 90s, I think, every house was built in Israel um, had to build this kind of shelter, anti-missile shelter.
Wow.
But still, a lot of houses that have been built before don't have it.
Right.
So it's another issue. Now, those that close to the border, isn't it in the north, next to Lebanon and Syria, or in the south, are much more and much more dangerous and attacks much more because the simple and short missile, they have much more of them,
Right.
and they do send them to the center of the population. They don't shoot on soldiers. I mean, they shoot into population just to kill people. So
Yeah.
so most of the places in those areas have built shelters, but not all of them again. And yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy to live like this. It's not something that makes sense.
Right.
So actually, Israel built anti-missile defense system. I mean, the main one called Iron Dome, which
Right.
can destroy the missile on the road.
It's amazing. Amazing
But
technology.
still, yeah, it is. But it's not 100%, insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with the close, those that live close to the border, that we still don't have and defense anti-missile for the small these bombs that coming in 10 seconds. Um, so I heard the building that, but it's still not there, and I really hope we will not need it. But
Right. Yeah. I've been following politics of Israel before the attack, and it seemed like that there was a big, deep divide among your leaders. But from what I've been hearing since, it seems that the divide has really been eliminated, and everybody's come together. So, is that what's happening? Do you think that those, whatever those divides were, are starting to go away, and everybody's getting on the same page?
Well, we are in a war now, so I can tell you that more than 6 months we were protesting against the current government led by Benjamin Netanyahu, which is, in my opinion, and hundreds of thousands other people, is the worst government in Israel ever had. And we had the feeling that this government is leading us to what we try to call as regime change. And we were afraid that in the end we won't be democracy anymore.
Right.
But now it's a war. And a war that against an enemy that the only ideology is to destroy us. I mean, and we call it our second independence war. We have to, and so everybody is together, and when we will finish this war and we'll get back all the hostages back to Israel, which is something that we pray for every day. I guess the debates will come back. I mean, there is some difference between, maybe not. Let's hope not. But this one, at least for the time being, we postponed it.
Right. Yeah. And I know mainstream media in North America has not covered this fairly or honestly since the attack. Some have, but many haven't. So what message would you like to give the people of North America? What truth do you want to leave with them?
Well, I've been talking to a friend today, said that they think that maybe the problem that people in their heart cannot understand the horror that we pass through. I mean, as a Western person that live in a democracy, cannot, I think, understand, contain such a horror. At least I cannot. Right. I must say, I cannot. It's been 60 days then, and still cannot contain it. I'm hardly watching news. It's way too much for me. So maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm naive in thinking that's one of the problems, and it's not only anti-Semitism and bad public relations. So I'm personally hurted greatly. My son's best friend, a young man that I love very much, called Ofer Chrissy, was killed trying to protect people in Kibbutz Be'eri, and
wow,
it was a hole in in my heart that the trauma that we had. So I want to try to give a little bit of history. I'm a very professional. I'm not a speaker of any country, but for people that don't understand, since 1948, since Israel was established as a country by the United Nations, we were in a war. The same day, the day after that, I mean, 5 different Arab countries were attacked this new small country and just tried to destroy it because they didn't agree that the Jewish will have their own country. Since then, there was a few other wars. Fortunately, there was some peace agreements with Egypt and Jordan. But the conflict with the Arabs, the Palestinians are living between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, didn't finish. I just want to make it clear. I mean, 20% of the population of Israel are Arabs. Israeli Arabs, which we live together in harmony. I mean, there is different things, but they are not our enemy.
Right.
They're totally not. I mean, we are one nation. But the problem, it looks like the problem is the Palestinian leadership that don't want to accept us as a country. Don't want us to be there, and it's something that will have to change. I don't say that we are perfect. I think our leader, especially in the last 15 years, not doing that much trying to solve it. You need the courage to make peace.
Right.
It's funny to say it, but I think we need more courage to make peace than to make a war.
Good point.
So this is what I had to say. But everything I said so far, it doesn't refer to Hamas. People have to understand Hamas is not a Palestinian. It's not a Palestinian. It's not a Palestinian people. It's a barbaric terrorist organization that actually controls the Gaza Strip.
Right.
And his only ideology is to destruct the state of Israel. There's no other ideology. They've been ruling the Gaza Strip for the last almost 20 years. They received huge amount of money from the countries all over the world. And instead of taking care of their people and building factories, schools, hospitals, everything they did was manufactured weapons and will build all kind of terrorist tunnels under the ground to be ready to the moment to attack us. That's what they did. And they use their own people as human shield.
Right.
They shoot missiles from schools, from kindergartens, from hospitals, from innocent citizens' homes, from everywhere to protect them. Anybody that is not obeyed to them will go to jail in a good case. In a bad case, will be murdered, and hundreds and thousands have been murdered by Hamas. So this organization in the 7th of October, I know they committed a barbaric act against our citizens. They murdered, they raped, I have a problem to say the words, they beheaded babies and kidnapped old men, women, children, young babies, young women into Gaza. So, when we talk between us, some people were thinking, say that they behave like animals, but we said that the animals don't behave like that.
Right.
Animals don't behave like that. I mean, they're not commit such barbaric acts. I don't know how to call them, but animals is a too good word for them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of the narrative that's passed through is really, this is a territorial dispute. But anyone that has studied history at all knows that that's not what it is. So, yeah. So thank you for explaining all of that. And I'll add, a lot of my audience has a strong faith in God. And I know so many of them and my own family have been praying for the Jews through this. So how can we help? Is there anything we can do to support Israel, the farmers, the people? What do you say?
Well, I think the most important thing for us now and for Jewish around the world is open the mouth and talks and protest against the Arabs or pro Israel and pro Jewish. We want to receive this clear and loud voice from people, and not like a lot of leaders were saying, and not like what we hear from the leading universities of USA.
Mhm.
Um, some people, even did more than that. American farmers came and to volunteer in Israel in agriculture and in dairy. I met them. So, but the main thing is the support. If we can get the support, and um, that can be a very. This is very important for us now.
Mhm. Yeah, really to expose the truth, right?
Yeah, 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 and 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 I don't know how to say it, but to to clear the ignorant, or make the people a bit more understand before they say things that they don't know anything about it, and just
Yeah,
if we have another minute, I wanted to read what the Prime Minister of Netherlands said.
Mhm.
Do we have another minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
He said, like, the Israel is a democratic beacon in a sea of Islamic darkness. I lived in Israel for several years and felt at home. This is indeed home. It is the only democratic country in the Middle East, and it is the only country in the region that shares the same value with us. Its conflict with Islam is not over land. It cannot be resolved by dividing land. This is a conflict over ideology. This is a conflict between freedom and tyranny. Israel is the canary in the coal mine. If Islam conquers Israel, we, Western countries, will be next in line. This is not a clash between civilization. This is a clash between civilization and barbarism. I think it did it made it much better words that I can say.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll provide a link in the show notes to that as well. That's beautiful. Very well said. And so where can people find you, learn more about your business? Learn about what you do.
Well, actually, I'm an independent consultant today for dairy management and comparative computers and milking and monitoring system, things that I've been dealing with for many years. Right now, I'm partly with a company in the East, but people can find me in my LinkedIn page under my
Perfect.
name, Tsur Hadar.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, sir, for joining me today. Thanks for, sharing a bit about what farmers over there are experiencing. It's good to hear, and you have our support for sure.
Thank you very much for your support. It's as I said, it's extremely important for us now.
All right. And thanks to all who are watching or listening. If you want to learn more, links, as I said, are provided in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to North American Egg Spotlight on YouTube, Rumble, or Telegram channels. And the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Listen Notes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you like this episode, I'd love it if you shared it. And have a great day. Did you know that at NorthAmericanAg.com, we are committed to providing valuable resources for farms and agribusiness? Find your next podcast in the Best of Ag podcast library, delve into our on-demand webinar series, check out the latest in ag news, or treat yourself to a new hoodie or tee from our swag shop. Head over to our subscribe page to join our community and be the first to know about what's happening in the industry. North American Ag provides daily ag news and weekly podcasts covering ag tech, ag policy, new products, family, and faith. North American Ag gives farm families and ag professionals insight into what's happening in agriculture throughout North America. Ditch the mainstream media. Join North American Ag.